Welcome in. Do another tier list. Let's go and do Resident Evil. See how this runs. How does it start? Like I did last time with the newest game to the oldest. And there's a listing for one. I'll make one game better than them all. The top tier games, the mid experience, boring games that you could pass on, and the disgrace that you should never play. So this is what we were running. Samari. So Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil Village. I fucking hate the walking. It's like a walking horror. But it's what it is. Resident Evil 3. Fucking disgrace. One of the worst games that they made. The remake, Resident Evil 3 remake. Awful. Broken and it's not a good game. Rushed and reused assets. Just worst. Probably the most disrespected the Resident Evil community has ever been. Was this game. The DLC that came with it, the verses never came out. It was a scam. Resident Evil 2, on the other hand, top tier. Better than Village. Better than Village for sure. Some of the best graphics on any engine. The gore, the zombies, it works. It's an absolutely solid game. There's some bugs. Is what it is. Resident Evil 7. It's kind of a boring game. It's like Resident Evil Village. You walk. It's like worse. It's not as open. Way worse. Boring. I'm not gonna rate this. I don't know what Umbrella Corpse is. Not sure. I don't know if they were trying to say that this was the what's it called? Umbrella Chronicles. But it's Orc or whatever. Disgrace. Absolute gross. It's like Resident Evil 4 but worse. It's player 2 doesn't use melee. It's like she plays Ashley the whole game and the game is strange. Disgrace. Never play it. Super boring and probably not as bad as 3, but I would never play it. 6 is definitely a solid game. Top tier for sure. Top tier. Top tier. Would I say? Put it at the mid experience. I'll put it at the mid experience, but it's probably gonna be the best mid experience. It has like the most to do. There's a lot of stuff in it going on. If you actually are into this, I mean, it's like Resident Evil 5 but better. I mean, you can jump, punch, kick, and way more control of everything, and there's so much more to do, and so much more to see. Revelations is boring, very boring, and it's probably into disgrace because I really don't like the storyline. I don't like the storyline of either of those games. But the compared to Revelations 2, it does have a good side. I don't know. It's still a boring game. There's at the end of the day, it's still boring. Probably not a disgrace, but this is definitely going to be the mid. It's a mid experience for sure. Yeah, it's like a on rails arcade game at home. It's okay. This has the worst AI, and I'm just not a fan of this game very much. It's because everything about it just not good. I don't like the worms. I'm just not a fan. It's this is probably gonna be above 7, but it's still boring. It's a retelling of the old games, of the old original trilogy, and same thing like this, but it's worse graphics. Resident Evil 4. Oh, um, mm, is it? Mm, yeah, I'll probably put it there. Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is okay. It's not the best. Its own thing. It's kind of mid. Um, Ashley is not held up as a character very well. Her dialogue hasn't held up. Replaying this game, like, just dry. You stream this game, no one wants to watch it. Just kind of a dry game, super dry. And as soon as the new one that's coming out pretty soon is, no one's really gonna talk about this one no more. Um, so like Outbreak 2. Outbreak 2. I'm gonna say it's boring, but it's probably better than all these. I could actually probably put it up to mid, and it's probably better than Resident Evil 5. I'll probably put it there. It's like the classic games, but I don't know. It's okay. It's all right. It has really weird PS2 bad graphics, and it's gonna hold it back. The graphics, and it was supposed to be an online multiplayer game. It just didn't work out. Very nice promotion and very cool vibe, but it just didn't work out. This, on the other hand, the first game, oh my god! I mean, it's almost like the pinnacle. It's pretty close. It's so good compared to the second game. The first game plays like the classic game. Plays like them. It's the same type of style. It's online. Um, this plays like the classic games. You stop and you shoot. This game you can move and shoot. It just takes the vibe of the game away. It doesn't feel like any of the Resident Evil games at all. Maybe like it probably feels more like 5 or 6. Yeah, the graphics in this is very strange. Didn't have a lot of content. Today. Dead Aim is like mid. It's like right here. Dead Aim is like it's okay. It's alright. Resident Evil Zero. Resident Evil Zero is pretty controversial. Resident Evil Zero was supposed to be a good game, but it's like it's creepier than, but it has like uh, it is. Mm, Dead Aim has such a fresh air to it. Resident Evil Zero, like it's. I wouldn't say it has necessarily that same fresh air, but it's like actually a Resident Evil game. It feels like classic survival horror. It's the leeches throw it off. It's kind of like Resident Evil 5 with the worms. The music's really good. Um, the thing is with this, it's kind of confusing. The game's kind of confusing, and the enemies are kind of tough. And it is like the ending is kind of the throw and boring is kind of like extra, but like I don't know if I could leave it there. Like it does things right and it does things wrong. Like everything else, it's just mid. It's just mid, man. It's just such a mid. It's the ultimate mid. It's the ultimate mid, but it's on the bottom. It's the bottom mid. Resident Evil 1 remake. That's obviously solid. This is going to be less solid than Village because it's like less replayable. Um, but for the time, it was a really good story. Very cool and very good graphics to remake Resident Evil 1 remake. Um, it's like the ultimate remake too. Like the thing about this compared to these other games is I think this is a better remake than Resident Evil 2 because like the ending like but Resident Evil 2 is such like has such a better engine and just and more people are to probably want to play this. And if you put it back in the day, if this was around as long as this, it probably would have been just as nostalgic. I mean, yeah, I must probably say Resident Evil 1 is probably a little worse than Village. Village is actually not a bad game. It's short and and I don't like it as much as one because of the weird. It's just weird. It's just different. It's not as like, but the the atmosphere and the graphics and just the way you're like this whole it's like just a brand new engine is just so like these two games. The fact they're on brand new engines hold them up so well. Um, because these two right here, these are pinnacle games. Resident Evil 1 remake and Resident Evil Outbreak are just so good. This has some of the most many characters. This has many characters to play. This is not like the other games. This would have been like oh they don't even have it. This would have been like the what's it called? The DLC to 3, the Revelations or whatnot, or the I don't know what it's called. The Resistance, Resident Evil Resistance with the people, the teenagers. It was kind of like that before that, and it's just this. I just think this game is good for PlayStation 2, and I think the graphics are a little old, and this game is so solid that they reuse the graphics from this game and put them in Umbrella Chronicles to represent for the old classic Resident Evil games down here. So this game is just unique, just very. It's solid. Um, Code Veronica. Code Veronica is better than this game, this game, this game, this game, this game. Ooh. This game. Is it? Mm, it is kind of a mid experience. It is kind of the mid experience. It's on a like we gotta be real here. Running around the prison, running around the houses. It was like cool on the Dreamcast. It was cool to have a HG or better. I like the vibe with the blue and the gold. The the '90s era it was in. It's a very it's set. It's in or two, it was set in 2000, but it just feels very millennial and set in that era. And I don't know. It's nostalgia over anything. But I think the the ending of the game wasn't even completed, so like it can't be better than 4 because 4 and 6 are actually solid. 4 is a solid game. 6 is a game that was just so like there's so much. They had like 4 storylines. There's like 4 games at once. There's so much going on. It had multiplayer. It had unique multiplayer in it, where it had like this DLC game modes where when players are playing the campaign, you can play the you can play their campaign as the enemies, and you load in through doors and on the side of the map that you don't normally see, and you can do things that the characters can't do, like jump over ledges, and you can stab and fight the players as they're going through the campaign. And when they kill you or shoot you, when the campaign players kill you or shoot you, you explode into the tyrants, and it's like a crazy mechanic. And I think that this game's super ambitious and people super underrated game, very underrated, and just like the fact that people even say that this is a bad game doesn't. They just I don't feel like they know what they're talking about. I don't think they played it enough or know it's there to play. I think they were basing it off of nostalgia. They'll say that this game's better, which is makes me cross-eyed. Like, I just don't understand what they mean. I just don't. It's this game's not even finished, so it's enough said. Um, Survivor. Uh, it's good. It's actually pretty good, but it's pretty fucking. It's pretty. Oh, but the voice acting is so terrible. I'm gonna have to even this out. This is probably gonna go up 1, but I can't like. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go, but like to call it good is like too much. To call it like good is like good. Like I'm gonna say like most of it's mid. Most of Resident Evil is mid. Now I'm looking at it. Now I'm looking at it like you could say like you can have friends right here to boost these up. But I'm telling you, like if you don't have friends to boost these up, they aren't gonna be as fun to boost them up because the AI in them to play with AI sucks, and it ain't. Yes, there's capability to boost it up, but most players aren't gonna play with friends on these games. There's not. Um, Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3 is the oof. Is it the pinnacle? Is it the pinnacle? Oh, oh, I don't know. It's close. It's close. There is a lot in this game. This whenever I think of Resident Evil, this is the vibe. This is the vibe. You got it's still to this day, you got a scary monster that chases you. You're reloading bullets. You're in the city. The city gets destroyed. You actually see the city be destroyed. Like it's a retelling of Resident Evil 2, but like it's good stuff. It's so good. Like I want to say Resident Evil 2 is better since it has the four endings, but it's the same game four times. I mean, and Resident Evil 2. I mean, Resident Evil 2. See, like the thing about these two, right? Resident Evil 2. It competes a lot with House of the Dead, and it's like a good version of House of the Dead where you're the two characters. You go through the whole map. It's so solid. It's like probably the one I've replayed and beat the most, like anyone else. It's on the Nintendo 64. PlayStation has the most remake or like it's awesome. It's an awesome game. It was 1998, like Ocarina, just such a vibe, and like it saved the series. It's a game that is so good. Like how you want to say Resident Evil 1 is there, but Resident Evil 1 isn't top tier at all. I mean, like it would be a mid game, and it'd be better than Survivor, and it'd be like there. And Resident Evil 2, it it had to go something like this. It had to go something like this. Resident Evil 3 is scarier, but like the settings are better in the diners. Like it feels like a city. This has a better police station, and it's reused, and it's classic, and it's very puzzly. This game's more of a puzzle game, but this game doesn't remind me so much of puzzles. This game reminds me of the city itself and in the series and what the series stands for. And Resident Evil 3 is definitely the pinnacle for sure. Sure. Resident Evil 2 is so solid. It's like the same game. These two are like right next to each other. I just think Resident Evil 3 did better. Resident Evil 2 is these two would represent the series, I would say, over anything. These two classics. That's why Outbreak is here. That's why 2 is here. They're just this is the series to me right here. And then these games right here, um, this is a good first person game, but it's you're super slow, and this is a good remake of this game, of the first game. This is a good remake of this game because this game has bad dialogue, but this game is solid as well for being made in 1996. It's old, but even if the voice acting's bad, it's replayable. I don't know. It's okay. I would say that this would be the series right here. This would be, and is Dead Aim better than Resident Evil 1? Ooh, um, yeah, let's say this is pretty good. Um, to say that these are all like as good as these are is something else because these are in a different tier. You know, these games when you point at these, like this one's actually a good game. This one's not that bad. This one's not a bad game. I think this is just kind of how this is a good version of this. I don't think this is a good version of that game. Everyone kind of likes this one. I think this is a better version of this. 8 is better than 7. Um, 6 is obviously the best of these. I believe 6 is right there. Unbiasedly, like that shit is. I think this is a good. This is good. I mean, these are the only ones that I said were boring. I mean, like bad graphics and just like it's. This is like a bad version. This is a bad version of this game, and this is a bad version of this game. This game was very boring and is not good at all, and it was like almost a disgrace to the series. I might as well put it here. I could put it there, but just to put some variety. Um, you could say Survivor's boring. I guess you could say because it's not as good. And to say that 6 is top tier and not mid. It's too much. It's too much. It's way too much. It's way too much, man. It's way too much. It's way too much. All right, so yeah, this one probably gonna be this close. This is tightening it up. Could I say 0? Could I represent 0? 0 being boring. 0 could also be here as well. 0 I could almost turn down there. Even with this music. Um, this game is not a boring game. I would actually play it. Is this a boring game? This ain't a boring game. I mean, none of these. Oh, I guess you could probably throw this in because this is a good ship game. Like this is not. I mean, it's a gun survivor game. It's open. It's one of the off rail ones. I mean, it wasn't boring. That's not really. This is like a one. You could play this one time and probably have fun with it. To replay it over and over again, it would get It'd be more boring than this. To rebeat it, to rebeat this over and over. Like, this is a one-time game. So, since this is like a one-time game, I'm just going to throw this down here. And now this is starting to look a little better. A little bit. We could probably throw one more game into disgrace. Just to be, just to like even it out. And then I think that's a fair hill to die on. So I think this is a fair hill. This looks good. This would be the mid games, the mid experience. These you could find more boring. Boring traits, boring things about them. Even though this has a lot to do in it, like a lot, it just, I don't know, doesn't hold up. I'd rather play this any day over and over again than I would play this. So, fuck yeah, little Resident Evil 3. Fucking 2 and Outbreak 2 remake, 8 1 remake. I really like a PlayStation 1 a lot. I do kind of like the vibe of this one. It's a good vibe for one, right? It's a good, even though it's the same game. I mean, technically you could do that, but the thing that brings it all the way down here, it could be this. This game could literally be either one, since it's like right here, because it's the same game as this, but it's outdated. It's PlayStation 1. I mean, you could put this game right here, either. It's fine. I would feel more comfortable putting this here, honestly, than I would be putting that there. Even though this is at the back, I put this at the back or whatnot, because this alone, compared to all these other games, there's a lot to do in these games, right? And this is a cheesy cheese fest. The voice acting is very cheesy and just these freshen it up. But I'd put this here because it's the same as this. Yeah, that's about it. Guys think. Uh, sure. Do you agree? Let me know. If you don't, let me know. So yeah, that's funny. That is so funny. I didn't even realize that. Resident Evil 3 is the alpha and the omega. The alpha and the omega. The best game in the series is the classic Resident Evil 3, and the worst game in the series is the new Resident Evil 3. That is funny. I didn't even see that. Jeez. Yeah, this is a disgrace, man. This is a disgrace. This is horrible. This was not what I wanted at all. Um, so yeah, Resident Evil. That's my Resident Evil list. And get into it. Get into making runs. Run these games. I can run these games any day, any fucking day of the year. These games probably not every day of the year, and yeah. But these I could for surely I could play these at any moment. Any moment I could run these games at any. That's how good they are. That's how I know this list. This list is all right. This list is solid. I'm solid with this list. All right, guys. Oh, we had a good one. It's all right. We're out. Ending stream.